Alright, we should be... I think we're golden now. Not like a shower, but just golden in general. Hey.
I'm too dehydrated for the other one.
Oh my. Alright.
And I am far too tired. God, I had a cramp. I don't know what happened, but the whole night right here felt like I sprained my hand. So no matter how I slept, it hurt. And then like 5 minutes after I was awake, it was gone. But it kept me up all night.
Okay, that's weird. That's just a little weird. Bit odd.
Well, I have a doctor's appointment this Friday, so if it's acting up again, I'll ask him.
Acting up again. Oh my.
Yeah, well, knowing me, that's probably how I'd... God damn, I'm tired.
Are we in the octagon now? 2 weirdos enter, only 1 weirdo leaves?
Oh, come on. With the 2 of us, they wouldn't let either one of us leave.
Or are we going to do a Master Blaster and we're going to be facing somebody else? Though, would you be writing on my show?
No, I don't think the Master Blaster you're talking about when you say that.
I know. That's the beautiful part.
I don't even know what the other Master Blaster looks like. All I can think of is this fat guy behind a round desk that looks like a keyboard.
Nope. One day,
hey,
sir.
At least the pixie in that was cute.
One day, sir. One day, I will educate you, but not today. Not this day.
There's not enough time to educate me.
We got 30 years, give or take. You're only in your 40s.
Thanks for condemning me to that long, ass.
Hey.
The hell am I going to do for 30 more years?
A lot more than my landlord. Oh.
Okay, how are we calling doing things? Because he will probably beat me in that race.
Let's see here. You tend to actually do something that isn't just collecting money from people and being a giant waste of skin. But, you know, what do I know? Well,
I'm too small to be a giant anything, so that's true.
And you've got a lot more hair. You are a far prettier man. Prettier man.
Please tell that to my fucking mom who thinks I should be shaved bald. One time, I was getting ready to do one of my shows, and I asked them to cut my hair. I wanted my hair trimmed. She literally shaved it to the point I looked like Big Fatty. I had hair like this tiny. And of course, my mom and Laura loved it. And ever since then, they're trying to get me to shear it down. It's like, can't I just have fucking hair? The rest of my body is a little fucking wreck. And I at least, have control over my hair.
Let me have one good thing. One good thing in my life. Yeah, one good thing, and that's it.
Well, the one good thing I had in my life, she managed to con me in taking away a month after I moved. She got me to cut my ponytail.
Yeah,
I
do miss the ponytail, sir.
Yeah, you and me both. And no matter, I take biotin, I've tried, shampoos and whatnot. It gets like this, but it gets thick, but it never gets long. So I'm never going to get it again.
It'll take ages and ages and ages.
Well, what would take is me going back on Xarelto, because that actually, one of the side effects was it promoted hair and nail growth. That was one of the side effects of the drug. That's the only reason it grew so fast.
I think I need to get on some of that. Maybe it'll fix my slowly balding scalp.
What is it? What is Mograine or something like that? It was a hair product. At one point, I can't. I was gonna say migraine, but it wasn't. But it was some grain thing that was a pill or something that helped promote hair growth.
Right, you crazy Dutch bastard.
No, Rogaine.
Oh,
Rogaine. I knew there was a gain on it. I just had the first letter mixed up. This is why I desperately need caffeine, and I have none in the house. Actually, I do. I have some Coke Zero. Maybe I should grab some quick.
Okay, I'm back now.
Have some Coke Zero with my coffee. Just something to keep me awake, because my God, am I tired.
Get a couple of those neurons firing and all that good stuff. Yeah.
There's too much empty space up there for that to happen. Even if they're fired up, the chances of them meeting each other is very slim.
So, since this is kind of a we did an episode yesterday that was kind of garbage, for lack of a better term.
I think we need to release that for Christmas.
That may be a Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Watch this.
Yeah. That episode's going to be in an archive somewhere for a bit. That's for sure.
I don't care what we do after. I just think for Christmas we need to release just that. It's like, yeah, see, every now and then we really fuck up. But thankfully the cameras were rolling this time, so sit back and have a ball.
Yeah, and that time it was my fuck up.
Yeah, well, I would be recording the sound today, but I already did a podcast today, and I don't really want to open it again.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I'm actually watching the meters, and it's working today. So
nice.
Because
you actually have meters? No, seriously. You've seen Sam. Sam has like almost no meters or anything.
That's why I like OBS. It has meters. It has meters. It's so nice. Anyway.
I was thinking of trying to boot up OBS because I'd like to, once 3.5 hits, do some leveling on the new system.
Yeah,
and do some Let's Plays, but I don't know if how well OBS will run for me.
Well, you've got all the updating you'll have to do first.
Yeah, maybe I should turn it on today. It might be ready by next Sunday.
Yeah, quite possibly. That might be a good idea. Anyways, so we're going to be kind of ignoring shit from last night because that really
too bad our Phantom producer isn't on.
She wouldn't be able to do much. She really wouldn't. I would have to like set up a whole nother screen to capture her text dialogue and have it scroll across and fuck.
What we need to do is have you set up that screen sometime so every now and then when we get all three of us in, we can just have a bullshit roundtable. It's like, what are they going to talk about today?
I have an idea on how to do that. I have an idea. Just a
I got a name for it.
No,
the grab bag.
No.
Because you never know what's going to come out of it, so you just.
No. There is an input source for Twitch chat directly into OBS.
Yes, because that's how the Dragon Show does theirs, I believe. They just do it for YouTube.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, because, as a side note, before we start segueing into an item that's in this territory.
Oh, yeah, not even 3 minutes and we're already off track.
No, we're 7 minutes. We're 7 minutes
Oh,
in.
well, hey, at least we almost hit double digits before we got derailed.
Before we go up to that, I kind of want to point out to Boozy, and Boozy, bless your heterosexual lawyer drunken heart. Some of the shit you do on Twitch, if an admin sees it, will get you banned permanently.
What'd he do?
There were some stories he told. That's not what will get him in trouble. And we aren't going to talk about the stories.
No,
he asked everyone watching not to talk about the stories.
All I'm going to say is I was there, and my God, were they fun.
I'm trying
QM's responses to them were the best, though, I think.
I'm trying really hard not to make references because he asked people not to. But oh my God, I sympathize with that man. And
I have a feeling I should be getting a shirt that says I was at Boozy stream and all I got was this lousy shirt.
I sympathize with that man on many levels.
Yeah.
And then I sit here and go, why am I not a lawyer? Because we did a lot of the same shit in our youth.
Why am I not a lawyer? Because I'm far too scatterbrained. I couldn't be a lawyer. I can't pay attention long enough.
But no, like a prime example, and I'm throwing this out there, and please, for the love of God, if someone, especially in the furry community, passes along to Boozy, there is actually a subsection of the end user license agreement and the terms of service of Twitch where you cannot accept donations, or you cannot equate donations to drinks, kind of thing. people get banned for that. If you sit there and celebrate someone donating, like, oh hey, you dropped $5. That sounds like say 5 drinks worth. That's okay, but you cannot actually be paid to drink online. You cannot receive donations to drink directly.
Technically, he could do the same thing he was doing. He just has to phrase how he's reacting to it.
No. It's essentially any exchange of money as a donation, tip, whatever, to him, and he directly drinks in cause of that is a violation. But if he sits there and go, oh hey, you donated a couple bucks, cheers. That's if it's an off the cuff, sideways, hey, thanks, celebration. And he decides to have like 5 drinks or whatever. It's removing the causation, and it's removing the chain of events.
Well, that's why I'm saying if he changes the wording to where he doesn't say, I'll do this, but he can look at it.
Yeah,
it's like, okay, in my mind, this person donated 10, so in my mind, I'm going to do 5 over the course.
Yeah. And that's...
I mean, he's drinking anyway. He doesn't have to say what he's drinking for.
Yeah, but he cannot directly accept money for drinks, and vice versa, or drink for money.
He can, but he cannot say that is what he is doing.
There you go. So
he just has to change how he's announcing it.
He has to dance. He has to pull some lawyerese and dance around the TOS.
What you gotta do when you post this. You need to tag him in this.
Yeah, and I bring this up because Boozy is an absolutely fun and fantastic guy too.
I am. Hoping
it's really fun to see a lawyer get drunk.
I'm really hoping that he goes to First Squared because I would love to meet him.
But at the same time, I know several streamers. I know like Thor13. I even know like Towley has been temporarily suspended for overindulging on stream or accepting donations and equating that to alcohol. I gave Thor a $20 tip one time for him to have like 5 shots of booze. That got him in trouble. Yeah. That got him in trouble for it when an admin walked in to the room.
I did that for Boozy on that stream. I donated $9 so that he and QM could each have a shot.
Yeah, but that's one of those weird terms of services that they are really cracking down on.
Well, people like Alkali and Boozy Badger and whatnot, they know how to handle their beer. But I could very easily see and they don't have big crowds, let's be honest.
Yeah, but if someone drops, say, like a $100 tip.
Tally or Lore or Mia Rose or Pocket.
In a fair
they could be drinking for hours straight if they did that.
Well, Pocket has gotten in trouble for it too. She got way too drunk on one stream.
Knowing Pocket, and I shouldn't be surprised, but for me, I never saw Pocket really as a drinker. That kind of surprises me, actually.
Oh yeah, especially after she got her breast surgery. Well, she's picked up the drinking a little bit more. But anyways, she got bigger boobs.
I was going to say, which way did that go? Because she was actually fairly fine the way she was. So
yeah, but anyways.
I thought so.
Yeah, whatever. Anyways, so yeah, that was just kind of a tip to Boozy Badger. For some reason, someone sends this out to him. Pull in your knowledge of legalese and check over the TOS and whatnot, and even ask an admin of Twitch concerning, tips for drinks, and tread lightly on how you word that, because it's a battle. Their bullshit is magnificently bullshit. And
the best way I could see it doing is, hey, this is me. If you like our stuff, there's donation links, and just stop right there.
Yeah.
Yep. You don't have to say anymore. Like I said, just keep a little score sheet. It's like, oh, they donate this, then I take this, but you don't say it. Mm-hmm. You just say, oh, hey, I've got mail. Look at it and say thanks. Say, hey, thanks for the donation. Just keep right on going.
Yeah. But
it can be one of those silent agreements everybody knows, but nobody says.
Yeah. So... Speaking of furries, because you knew we weren't going to dance around this one, And this was
No.
and Boozy was the perfect segue. So, and he kicked this over to me, and this kind of goes back to like a video I made back in, God, what was that, April? And this is a lot of stuff that's starting to come ahead, and I feels kind of weird to be talking about the furry fandom. Actually, like legitimately talking about the furry fandom. But who is
We
it?
bring them in, but yeah, they usually aren't the main topic too often.
No. Kothorix.
Yes.
Who recently did a podcast with Gryphon, which was interesting, talking about.
Does a really good podcast.
Yeah, with and they were talking about gun control, social justice, Nazis, and things like that.
And AnthroCon, of course.
And AnthroCon, and a video he just released. What was it? 2 days ago, called "Is the Furry Fandom Better Off Split?" And it's an interesting, and it's something that me and Rendal have actually talked about off and on. About the social political fucking minefield that the furry fandom has become. Oh, sorry, I have to pop my back there.
No problem.
But the social political minefield that the furry fandom has come into, and I have taken my fair shots at it. I think it can be no better exemplified than the video, and I will even self-promoting bastard that I am. I'll link to the video I made before, where I blatantly called out some of the hypocrisy and the shady bullshit that some of the AnthroCon board of staff pulled. At the same time, they really aren't clean of their own, they aren't clean of their own stink.
No, they're not.
And yes, I may have gone into a little, less than a little I was really not unbiased when I did it, but at the same time, I was making the point that some people's shit stinks too. You can't sit there and say, "Oh, well, do this and this and this," while your shit stinks. Like, no, you either man up and go, "Yeah, no, it's because of this," or you walk, or you don't do anything. If you can't, if you cannot be a hypocrite, don't get involved. Do not get involved. And if your political leanings are what is going to dictate your actions for something that is supposed to be apolitical, well, come on. Why are you bringing politics into something that's supposed to be apolitical? We've seen that, and Kothorix actually brought this up as a great example with the Denver Post, with the Rocky Mountain FurCon?
God, yeah.
Rocky Mountain FurCon got shut down because basically of politics. Yes, there is a lot of side stuff to it.
It basically ended up being shut down because of Twitter baiting.
Well, between the Twitter baiting, the police being called in, some tax shenanigans at some point, and the increasing need to have more and more security because of the Twitter baiting and things like that, entire community fandom convention got shut down because of a bunch of petulant little fuckwits.
Keep in mind, the one that started it wasn't intending to go to that con anyway.
Yeah.
So it was nothing but yelling fire where there wasn't any, and just watching everybody run.
It was yelling fire in a theater. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah. It was all for show and games and just to see how far they could go with it.
Yeah, it was almost a legal definition of yelling fire in a theater and seeing what happens. And that's the kind of shit that, especially the furry fandom, since it spent most of my lifetime, most of his lifetime, trying to be something that isn't like, ew, freaks and, wearing costumes, having sex like animals. They're actually trying to be, respectable, decent. Look at the things that AnthroCon has done. What is it? The numbers for what they pull in for charities every year is breached over, $3 million a year now?
$3 million overall. But in that, I was just looking at the Dragit shows thing because I got my RSS feed up where I can put Twitter links on there now. And the Dragit show is it MFF going on now? I think it's MFF.
Yeah.
Their shows, Three-Headed Monster and the Dragit show, did so well that those two shows pulled in $1,000.
$7,000.
Not between those two.
Yes, I was checking the Twitter feed this morning. Pandez was talking about something like $7,000.
I think that might be overall.
No, it was. He was a little gung ho on the count for whatever it was, but
hold on.
Why do I have another notification?
The Dragon Show.
Retrocital. But yeah, no. Well, and that just over the course of like a couple of 3 hours, 3-hour shows total. $7,000. That's amazing. That's fucking fantastic.
Yeah, even if they made between two panels, and one is just sitting and listening to a podcast,
and people get drunk
if
and
you could,
shenanigans.
If you could make $500 on people just sitting and listening to a podcast, the $500 I could easily see for Three-Headed Monster, because that is a stand-up comedy hour. I could see getting money from that, but just the fact that they could raise at least $500 for sitting there and just talking to the audience.
Yeah.
That is impressive.
Yeah, but $7,000 overall?
I don't even think if I do my show at First Squared, I could raise $7, so.
Well, yeah, but, and that's kind of the thing, is a convention, which has the possibility of, bringing in a lot of charity money, things like that, was shut down because of Twitter baiting assholes. And then you've got, and then the political divide has actually increased further. You've got the extreme left, you've got the extreme right, and then you've got the guys in the middle who are sitting there going, we're supposed to be playing around in costumes. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, that's something that Kage was really strong on last year when I went to First Squared, is he was every now and then, because this literally happened the month after Trump took office. There was a lot of times where Trump's name would kind of sneak in. Like one of the more famous ones from a Comedy Better When I'm Drunk is, it was a known joke that the Friday already of the con, the ATM was closed. And they found out, somebody called Chase Bank and Chase said, yeah, we ran out of money. To which Alkali said, okay, due to my job, I have to leave for work. This could be a bad night for me. We all agree it's Trump's fault, which, okay,
funny joke.
And last year would have been fine.
Yeah.
The Kage's like, okay, that's nice, but we're here to get away from all that. So,
yeah, I mean,
on the one hand, I like the idea, but on the other hand, how long do you have to wait? Do you literally need the barbarians at the gate to say, okay, yeah, maybe we should stop? There might be a tiny problem out there. I could see for comedy. Okay, that's what iComedy Better When I'm Drunk is.
Well, just comedy.
Almost for the whole con, they were like that. It's like, Dragon Show could have brought it up.
Yeah.
Granted, I think this year, if they do the same, then I will start worrying about that, because there's being respectful that people are here to relax. But if you have shit like during my show, if somebody brings it up, sure, I'm going to talk about it. I think that's where the fandom's having trouble, is a lot of the people who just want a fursuit. There's that, but you can't completely divorce yourself from what's going on.
But and this is a point of contention that him and me can get into. I kind of joke about my sociopathic nature, but at the same time, I can engage in full cognitive dissonance. I can have two opposing thoughts and still function as a human being. I can disconnect myself from the political spectrum and go, you're all fucking nuts. You're supposed to be here in fursuits having fun, but you're letting personal ideals and beliefs and, nonsense create this divide that's destroying you. It's amusing for me, but...
Well, and this has been going on for my entire life of the fandom, because I got in 96, 97. And it started with alt.fan.furry and started with the news groups. And one of the things, and I don't know how bad it was because I wasn't really into the community then, was the burned furs. I don't. You'll have to look them up because I
That
never.
is-
But there was already a split in the furry fandom at that point.
Yeah.
So my whole existence, it's always been like, well, we've got the burn furs, we've got the Nazi foxes, we've got this. There's always been a furry,
Right.
and then something else.
Yeah.
So
there's always been
I've never looked at it as a full group because there's too many little infighting things going on. Not that that's bad if you can come together during a con and put it aside.
Yeah. And I think,
just don't like to put it aside as opposed to outright burying it in the back, because that doesn't. You can stick your head in the ground all you want, it ain't going away. You have to talk about it eventually.
yeah, but at the same time, you have to sit there and go, this is supposed to be a community that is about inclusion and, you know, everyone being together, and you have to set your bullshit aside to be able to have fun, to find what connects you with other people. If you can enjoy one thing, you can enjoy other things, and you can keep your personal ideals and bullshit at the door. It's like a fucking, in some ways, it's like a job. You keep your bullshit at the door, have fun, or work your ass off, and then when you step back outside in the real world, then you can get back into the infighting. But that has become the biggest thing, is it's not being left at the door anymore. It's not being left at the door.
Somebody was talking on Two Gryphon's Discord that what they would love to do, and this might actually go a ways to at least smoothing it over a little bit, is have like a think tank panel. It's like, okay, you want to come in, you want to talk, doesn't matter what it is. We'll just sit and we'll talk.
Well, and that would never be allowed. That would never be
No,
allowed.
it wouldn't. That would be the problem. Is that would be a nice way to at least present it so people who were worried could talk about it, but they'd never allow it.
What you are actually proposing is essentially a town hall meeting kind of thing. In a sense, for a furry community at a convention. You know, to sit there and let them talk about the various problems and issues and think it over, chew it out, and chew it over, think it out. There we go. We are talking about the furries after all.
I think you had it right the first time.
I had to rephrase that a little bit. And to be able to at least sit there and realize, yes, there are differences. Yes, there are. It's like a great example is the log cabin Republicans. You know, the gay Republicans as a prime example. People sit there and lose their minds. Oh, you're gay and you're Republican. Well, what do you fucking expect? It's like,
yeah, there's some there are furry Republican, furry Democrats. That stuff is a mindset, and a mindset can hit any fandom that it wants to.
Yeah.
There are Republican and Democrat Star Trek people and Star Wars people. I mean, why would anybody in the fandom think that, oh, well, that's them, that isn't? No, it's everybody.
Yeah. And
that's just how that works.
Let me tell you, as an anime geek and whatnot, and as an anime geek, as a gamer geek, I mean, as a fan of the furry fandom, which is weird to say, I'm a fan of the fandom because it's fucking weird.
Yeah, true.
I can sit there on the outside and observe and go, what the fuck is wrong with you people? I honestly, the furry fandom should act like, and this is the most sinister thing I will ever say, the furry fandom should act like the Federation.
It should, but that's quite an ideal for this world.
Yeah, but it's one that the furry fandom could have. It's different ideologies, different mindsets, different peoples coming together, agreeing on a overall ideal, but still having their own personal little fucking sex bullshit, and occasionally there'll be underground dark dealings that, you know, that has to be dealt with, that no one wants to talk about, but it's still done and dealt with. Oh wait, the way a fandom that should be all-inclusive and all-supporting should be. It's fucking sinister, isn't it? It's like root beer.
What's so bad about root beer?
You really need to watch that episode. It is one of the best episodes ever, where Garrick explains how the Federation is sinister like root beer.
Oh, that's a DS9, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Okay. I remember DS9, but at the time we weren't able to pull it in very well, so there was some I missed.
Was it Garrick? Or is it
the barber, right?
it was Garrick and Quark.
Oh, of course it was Quark.
It's the more you drink it, the more you like it. It's sinister, like the Federation, like the Furry
True.
Fandom.
That's right. The Ferengi had a fondness for root beer.
Yeah, amongst other things. But yeah, no. But it kind of goes back. It's leave the political bullshit at the door.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to have an argument on Twitter with somebody, go right ahead. Have an argument on Twitter. That should be where it stays. If you are so diametrically opposed to someone's ideals and personality, fine, be opposed to them. But when you start sitting there saying, no, you can't have fun at the same place I'm having fun, that's when it becomes a problem. And in that case, kick them both out. I mean, punish both ends of the spectrum. If they can't...
Well, you'd have to.
And that's honestly, with the giant, massive divide that the furry fandom from, the alt-right and the left and, the straight furs and the gay fur and everything else that's fucking dividing the whole furry community into subdivisions and shit like that. Honestly, everyone should start getting punished. Honestly, it's the simplest solution. You kick out, kick out 2 Gryphon for not, having a thought that, is a little more in the middle, doesn't agree with everyone, but agrees with everyone at the same time, but still has his own line, and he makes it funny as hell. Okay, if you're going to kick him out, then anyone who is politically opposite of him needs to go too. Fuck, how hard is that idea?
Take a look at the board and you'll find that answer out.
And thus, my point. I brought that up in that video I made is, maybe the board needs to be cleaned up a little bit.
Somebody was mentioning that, and I'm not going to say who said on either side, but they said something in the bylaws prevented really anything from happening.
Which is a really terrible, terrible thing to have allowed to slip through.
Well, at the beginning when they started, and this is the problem with a lot of conventions when they write up bylaws, is they think of the perfect now. They're in their ideal mindset of, okay, this is going to be the place where we all come together. They don't expect that further on down the line that with people coming and going, that some dissension might form. And because of that, they don't put anything in to prevent it in case it happens. So they end up stuck with what they have.
Well, and you can also sit there and talk about how that system could easily be abused too.
Oh, well, any system can be abused.
But we both served on a board of directors. Now, in the term that we served on a board of directors, did we not vote out 2 people because they wouldn't commit? They were not committing. Linda.
No.
Yeah.
So when I came in on the very last year, and Linda wasn't voted out. It was Linda and Nicole and Christina all decided not to run.
No. We voted someone out. And this is getting to a little political stuff that him and me were involved in.
Well, but you gotta remember. You remember that. The only thing I remember is that board literally sat on its thumb and spun for almost the entire time.
But we decided in a quorum vote. We had enough people. We had, I think, 6 or 7 people out of 9 for the quorum vote to decide to whether or not to remove members who were not committing to the board, and we replaced them.
I don't remember that. Either I was not, because there was 1 or 2 that I missed, or it was honestly when things like that happened, I didn't vote anyway because I didn't know anyone, and I didn't want to put my say in on an issue I had no knowledge of. And at the time, everybody else was voting. It's like, well,
my point here is the fact that a tiny little theater community, a tiny little theater group, yes, that had been going for quite a few years, almost as long as like AnthroCon or any of the other major conventions.
I thought they'd been going a lot longer than that.
Since the 80s, easily.
Oh, yeah. AnthroCon was like middle to late 90s, so they've been going quite a bit longer.
But, but a tiny little, theater group had bylaws and whatnot set up just in case things like that happened. Where a tiny little convention group sets up ideals and, bylaws and segments to dictate and to run itself better than a large convention group or multiple conventions, that says something.
Well, it does, but it also says something for the nature of theater. Theater is a drama, and
so are furries.
But it's not that mindset. It's not that mindset that creates a con. The con is like, yay, we're going to make this spot and everybody's going to come together and it'll be like Woodstock in the 70s. And yes, I get your point, but theater people have that thought in their heads because they deal with prima donnas. They deal with backstage politics. Furries, when you're getting to... Have you ever seen a group of these idiots?
Yeah, they're all fucking prima donnas sometimes.
Yes, but they know... Somewhere in their minds, and fandoms in general do this. I haven't seen a fandom yet that isn't guilty of this. When they're out in crowds, yes, they're prima donnas. But when they have a chance to promote their fandom with cons and everything, all of a sudden it goes straight out of their minds. Their minds aren't thinking, well, X is a prima donna and Y is going to start torpedoing this the moment we mention it. And yet, no, they're like, hey, we can all get together and show the world that we're not as bad as they think we are. And they forget that more often than not.
But it is a truly poor ideology.
I'm not saying it isn't poor. I'm saying that the mindset between setting them up is vastly different. There's a reason that's set up that way is because...
And yet
they're in an ideal mindset.
And yet they are trying to run this like a business and like an organization and whatnot. Hang on. Yes, I have heard Kage's spiel on things like this.
Yeah.
And yes, he was running it like a business and organization. He was getting it set up and running. And some things slip through at first, and then every year it's a learning process. But almost 30 years on, that there is not an inclusion of a bylaw. I'm sure other conventions have bylaws. I don't know. I haven't been able to put... I would have to literally drag Alkali in and go, hey, what's the bylaws for Squared? Or look at, Pandas. What's the bylaws for IFC? Huskoon with MFF. Or,
it would be interesting to come to... Because a lot of places... A lot of nonprofits do have their bylaws and their mission statement online. It would be interesting to pull those and look and see how they differentiate.
Because if these various organizations, and I love how we've moved away from like the interpolitical,
we're still on it. We're just dealing with the side effects of it.
We're also kind of like the behind closed doors talk real quick. Because
we're at the man behind the curtain segment.
Yeah, pretty much. Because if the man behind the curtain doesn't have his shit together to be able to run his stuff behind the curtain, then that does reflect on how it does reflect on the fandom itself. I mean, a prime example. I'm gonna reach over here to the proverbial left corner here. Is right now with Twitch, there's a lot of hubbub with Twitch involving girl streamers. Now, a lot of that hubbub comes down to a lot of female streamers are... They aren't playing games, they're selling their body. And that's got a lot of people pissed off and da-da-da-da. This site's supposed to be about gamers and da-da-da. Well, okay. When you get the IRL streams, that's where it's like, in real life, fine. But when someone is selling, taking donations to have access to like their Snapchat where there's full nudes, their Patreon where full nudes, where private conversations and things, it's like that is no longer being a streamer. That is now cam girl. That is under the legal definitions, cam girling is legal prostitution. It's like being a porn star basically, just not as many hoops to jump through. And that's why Twitch has kind of cracked down on things like that. Because, they were starting to get into a territory where they were going to get in trouble for it. Before basically running a porn site. So Twitch is cracking down on that because they don't want that association. The furry fandom has its own dark connotations and things like that. All we have, I mean, to this day, almost 5 years later, Rainforest is still a prime example of things you don't do as a con. Dash Con is an example of things you don't do as a con. These are great, outstanding examples of ultimate failures. But those are failures that built up over time or were terribly executed from the getting out the gate. Now it's kind of a build-up for various conventions who have been running for a long time or who have gotten stable over a couple of years to sit there and should probably take some self-reflection time to go, okay, we may need to make some internal adjustments and reflect that outward. One point would be to leave your political bullshit at the door.
That's easier said than done with a lot of things nowadays.
That is easier said than done. But if people can't fucking do that, then you sit there and start pulling badges. It's like, honestly, if people can't keep their shit online or away from the main area, it's like, all right, give me your badge. You're done. Go home.
Like I said, that's a fun mindset to have, and variations of that theme were brought up in Two's Discord. And I'm not going to say who said it or who spoke against it, because that isn't anybody's business. But we're coming back to how the bylaws were written. The longer you wait on putting those changes in, and the more diverse those things get, right now, Kage could look and say, okay, we need to do this. But with the way that thing is set up right now, it's just like any other political thing. If the Democrats look and say, okay, well, we need to stop this now. Well, 3 or 4 years ago, maybe they could have done it. Now, they can't. It isn't so much a question for a lot of these, for AnthroCon especially, if what I heard was true, that they don't want to do it. It's the fact that because of how the split is in that group, that the people who want it done could never overrule the people who want it to stay the way it is.
So, in essence,
that's what I can't confirm or deny, because obviously I don't see it, but from what I understand, it isn't that they don't know there isn't a problem. It's that the way the board is sitting right now, even if they wanted to do something about it, it would most likely get outvoted.
The staunch.
So it's basically a waiting game right now. You have to wait for a couple of people to drop so you can.
The staunch liberals have become the conservatives.
Well, it's basically a waiting game now. They're going to have to wait and hope that. Well, okay, perfect example, Supreme Court. Look at it. You have lifetime people, you can't get rid of them. So if something starts to imbalance, you basically have to wait for one of them to leave before you can adjust the balance. That's basically what the board from AnthroCon, from what I understood, is. It's nothing that can be fixed until the board itself changes. And
well, then that's a bad business practice.
It's a bad business practice. Like I said, that was thought up of people who were preparing to do something that they thought was an ideal, so they didn't think they would have to listen to the start of the fandom and listen to the mess he inherited with that thing. Can you listen to that and not realize that there were some things in there that were probably going to come back and bite them in the ass? Well, this is that happening. And if you listen to Two's thoughts on this from beforehand, this isn't the first time it's happened with the AnthroCon board. It's happened before. Mm-hmm. It will happen again. This is just a point that we have to, like I said, Supreme Court, you don't like it, wait it out. When the time comes for people to be replaced, that's when you take action. You put the people in there that you know, if these things happen, will be open to modifying things to prevent it. I don't like it either. I really don't like it, but they're in a pickle there. It's honestly just a waiting game.
It's their own goddamn fault.
Wow.
20 years, and certain things haven't. No one stopped and went, "Oh wait, hey, let's take a moment to fix this before it becomes an issue later on."
Well, we can even look at it as an us versus them thing. You know, we talk about Rainforest and how hilariously bad that turned out to be. If you were looking at Rainforest and AnthroCon together, yes, you could see some things and say, well, yeah, that might be something we might not want to deal with. Or you may have a little bit of a blinder on saying, well, we will never get that bad. So we don't have to think about it now. Again, it's just ideals. The ideals, you know, if something was going on and they thought, well, that's their convention, it won't happen at ours. Not right away, it won't.
But
good on you for keeping it.
But moving on beyond the just like looking at the conventions itself, the actual serious divide and split that have seemed to galvanize that have galvanized like the fandom into two fucking sects at this point, which are then splitting into their own infighting groups.
Oh yeah, once it starts splitting, it just branches out everywhere.
Yeah, it's become a tree of strife, and it really is on one hand very terrible and really horrible, but that was that was supposed to be some of the base ideal, and this is going back to things like Kage and Cheetah and quite a few others have said over the years when it comes to the con, especially to the community itself, was it was supposed to be inclusive and everyone was supposed to be welcomed and this and that. Even it didn't matter if you were white, you were black, gay, straight, transsexual. If you were from two warring countries, you were welcomed in the community. But it was also kind of implied that you kept your shit at the door. Yeah, it was implied. Now some people didn't do that, but people just kind of begrudgingly went, all right. And that
EFF is something that Kage points to a lot with that representation.
Yeah, is a lot of people have this bad issue of not being able to leave shit at the door, and that might be something that needs to be addressed. Is if you can't leave when you are engaging in in the community and talking, if you can't leave your shit at the door. If you weren't talking about things inside the community, like, oh, hey, this is an upcoming artist going on, check them out, this is kind of cool. If you can separate the artist from the rest of who they are, you can sit there and appreciate the artist. I mean, yeah. Let's look over at the anime community real quick. Okay, Rurouni Kenshin. Rurouni Kenshin is a great, long-running anime, manga, a series across the board. Great, beautifully done. It's got a lot of story and depth to it, a lot of stuff going on. Does that make it any less, does it make it any less, great or fantastic that, its creator was just arrested for possession of child pornography? He was just arrested within the last month for possession of child pornography, as they started a new arc of the series. That's put the series on hiatus till God knows when. Now, does that mean the rest of the art and the storylines and everything else is not beautiful and great and whatnot? No, it's still beautiful and great. The artist is a terrible fucking person. Look at Frank Sinatra. Frank Sinatra, beautiful, gorgeous music. Fucking terrible human being. You can appreciate the music and the art and still hate the person. And I've thankfully never had to talk about this too much, but that's how I think about Bill Cosby. I grew up on his storytelling and his comedy and stuff like that. Now, do I agree with who he is today and what he's done in the past? No. Do you think I'm going to go break all my records and delete all his MP3s? No.
Yeah, try it, and you'll bring back a stub, because he is one of the greatest storytellers, in my opinion, in comedy. Because he can sit and make the most mundane thing entertaining. And if you listen to him, he's not like Robin Williams. He's not like George. He very rarely gets upset or animated. He's just sitting down and he's telling you about a weird event that happened to him and just knows the right times to put in pauses or to let people laugh or to throw in a little anecdote on the side. So to me, yeah, if somebody was going into comedy, I would immediately point them to him. It's like, this is how you tell a story.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I wouldn't say, now this is how you treat women.
No.
No. But again, I grew up at a time where for when I was in 8th grade, the English teacher had records. When we'd sit and write out stories and whatnot, he would put on, Why Is There Air? He would put on Bill Cosby records. So, I mean, I've been exposed to George Carlin, same way. He may not have had a lot of the, he had drug problems, was his thing. But
Robin Williams had drug problems.
Williams. I'm trying to.
But
yeah,
there's tons of examples.
There's millions of them. It's just a question of,
are you willing to engage in some cognitive dissonance? You can hate the person and still enjoy what they did. That's a real sticking point with some people, though. A lot of people are. The moment they do one thing wrong, everything in their past history is shit. Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, I'll remember. Jane Fonda there's a weird one.
My dad and a couple other people around here still hate her. I'm like, why?
But there's examples. I mean, there are examples. You can still like all of the movies she did and other shit like that, and you can still hate her as a person. You can like Johnny Depp's acting, and you can think he's an absolutely loathsome, terrible fucking person. I just happen to hate both. But that is where the problem comes in. There's a lot of people refuse to engage in some cognitive dissonance to appreciate the fandom. Foxler is a fucking notorious character that's brought up a lot for the alt-right furries. Foxler. Fox Hitler.
When we were playing Quiplash, I don't know if it was the night we mentioned or another one, but Foxler had come up in Quiplash a few times. I've honestly, until then, never heard of him.
This goes to show my fucking study of the furry fandom is a little more in-depth sometimes. It's fucking weird. But Foxler is the leader of the Furry Raiders.
Oh boy.
Or was the leader of the Furry Raiders. Now, his story goes back and forth. There are things that have been edited and changed. There are things that have been backtracked. There is all sorts of shit. He is a controversial character in and out of costume. Now, that is a highly controversial character in and out of costume. People on various boards of directors are controversial characters in and out of costume.
Yeah.
Gryphon is a controversial character in and out of costume, but at the same time, he is not changing his backstory or anything like that to try to warrant. It's like, no, he's there.
Yeah, he's stuck to his guns a lot. I think that's one reason I like him. He never apologizes.
Yeah.
He'll apologize for something he says, but he won't apologize for himself as a person.
Yeah. He'll apologize if it's proven he was way out of line.
Right.
If he was way out of line, way off base, he'll apologize and he'll sit there and go, all right, I fucked up. Let's move on. I have to live with the fact I was wrong.
A lot of people, once you say that, though, it's just like blood in the water. They just go ravenous. They will not let you live it down.
No, and that's the other thing is people put others on pedestals that they have no reason to be putting people on pedestals for, to fucking deify them just to watch them get torn down. People love watching a hero fall.
Yeah.
Over and over and over again. It's a case of Schadenfreude that is amazing, especially when you observe like the furry fandom, because holy shit, they will build people up, and when when one of them fucks up, they tear them down. You've seen some of that has happened with Alkali. Look at what happened with Toast the Bunny. There's quite a few examples of people getting built up and then being torn down because they said something wrong or stepped out of line on something. 2 got built up, and then because he's not changing his opinion, he's staying the way he's going, and that ruffles people's feathers, they tear him down. And there's just a lot of weak-minded fucking simpletons who got together in their echo chambers to tear him down.
Yeah.
And it really is a terrible thing.
I'm very happy that I've never gotten mainstream enough for anybody to do that.
I'm more along the lines of if I made it mainstream enough for someone to build me up, it's like, wow, you guys are idiots. Don't build me up. I'm a terrible person. I know some of you are just building me up to tear me down, and you know what? I'm not going to change my path here. I'm going to keep going this way.
Like here, not only will I let you build me up, I'll hand you the chainsaw because I didn't want to be up here.
Yeah. Go ahead, build me up. What's going to happen is I'm going to tear myself down and just keep on going. Have a nice day.
Yeah, it's like...
So I really, with the furry community, because we've been talking about this for a fucking hour now.
It's the furry community. We could talk about this all day.
Yeah, but we've been talking about this for a fucking hour now. When it comes to the split and divide, nothing is going to fix it. It is just human nature has seeped in to this. Now, it comes down to a matter of to keep the split or to not keep the split. The easiest way to, try to patch up that split is to sit there and go, leave the political bullshit at the door. If you're a Christian, if you're an alt-right, if you're an alt-left, if you're, whatever, you are all gathering together to have fun, to, you sit there and enjoy watching giant dragon dicks tear a fox in half. Okay, enjoy your giant dragon dicks tearing a fox in half.
Boy, there's a fun sentence.
There's a sentence I never thought I would get to say in my life, but... Or if you, if you are into octopus bondage porn, hey, you enjoy your octopus bondage porn.
Thanks for that image.
Again, a phrase I've been waiting to say for a long time. If you guys enjoy the music, like Pepper Coyote, DJ Ear, if you like the drawings and the writing of Electifencer, if you like the comedic stylings of Two Gryphon and Alkali and whatnot, you sit there and realize that they are comedians, that they are exaggerating, that they are sometimes fudging the reality and truth of things to make you laugh. Enjoy the comedic stylings, even if you don't exactly agree with them. You can still enjoy the comedic stylings, as long as you leave your political bullshit at the door. That's just one way to start patching up the split. On the other hand, if you don't want to patch up the split and you sit there and recognize the fact that, yes, people have their individualistic ideals, have their individualistic thoughts, beliefs, instructions, and whatnot, you sit there and go, okay, you have your thoughts, I have my thoughts. We are never going to agree. We can agree to disagree. Now let's both go watch this dragon split this fox in half, and you go on. Wait, it's the same thing no matter what.
Yeah.
You can't fix the split, or you can try to fix the split, but the bottom line is going to come down to you're going to have to sit there and ignore all your pretensive bullshit from your personal life to be able to sit there and enjoy watching that dragon split that fox in half. Or to watch that octopus and the spider engage in some of the kinkiest fucking bondage porn you will know to man.
Oh, wow. Now that would be an interesting sight.
Now I have his full attention. God help me.
I'm trying to figure out which one would have to be out of their element for that to work. One is a land creature and the other one's aquatic. How would that work? Unless it was a giant octopus, then we wouldn't have to worry about it.
So now I open Pandora's box with a crowbar and not enough lube.
I'm trying to think of the Kraken versus that fuck all huge spider from what was it? It was in
Harry Potter 2?
No, it was in World of Warcraft. It was a troll quest. You would run over and this monstrous fuck all spider would crawl out of the water. The first time I saw it, I damn near shit myself. It was one of those ones that are from outlanded the Dronai area, the ones with the red and yellow.
One of the water strider looking dudes.
Like,
okay, yeah.
There's like this spider god that came out of a pool in one of the classics.
Yeah.
That thing scared the bejesus out of me. I wonder if it's still there. I should check.
See how easy it is to distract him? All I do is bring up spider and octopus bondage porn and he's distracted.
I was trying to find a fitting mate for the Kraken, and that's the only thing I could think of.
Anywho. So,
Blame him.
Yeah. Other hand, other direction.
I'm just looking you at my main screen. I don't do this split screen shit because I don't want to look at myself.
Lean over to your right. Lean over to your right. Come on.
Hold on. How do you... Oh, there we go.
Lean over to your right.
No.
Why not? Come on, lean over to your right.
I'm just going to see how long he'll keep this going for. I wonder how long we can play this tired old joke out.
Not for too much longer, because I do want to touch base on that. You know, basically what it comes down to with dealing with the furry fandom and its split bullshit is the simplest fact is everyone's going to have to put aside their bullshit and just accept the fandom for what it is and get back to being a bunch of costumed weirdos who enjoy watching a dragon split a fox in half with its dick.
You know, you've said that so many times. You must have a GIF in mind.
There is, but I'm not putting it up. I found a GIF, but I'm not putting it up. I'm like, you know, that would work.
No, don't put it up. Put a link to it. It's like, this is what he had on. Oh, this is what he had on his mind the whole time he was saying that fucking. And he won't even share it with me. The ass. So
cheers, mate.
I don't even know what he's talking about.
I know. At least it's better than.
And then he complains about me not having anything to say. Well, he doesn't share anything.
And then
what the hell am I supposed to do?
And then there's the horrible things that DJ Ear shares on Twitter. Dear God.
I actually added his Twitter to my RSS feed because he started solo Let's Plays.
Mm-hmm. Well, and yeah. Anyways, so next topic, because I feel I'm gonna have to like split this in. Actually, I'm gonna wrap this part of the episode here because
are we doing a split again?
Yeah, we're gonna have to do a split. It's the only way.
Chloe.
It's the only way. Because it's the only way. So I'm gonna split it here. Then we're gonna go on to the other subjects I wanted to talk about today. So.
Should I just bring my pillow and my blanket out here?
No, I want to keep
One
this.
subject took us this long. I'll probably fall asleep in this chair.
No. The next subjects we talked about last night briefly, so this shouldn't take as long.
Yes, because we weren't filming. That's why they were brief.
Yeah. So we'll be back for the next episode here in a minute. Bye, everybody.
Fun.